Millions of people followed him here live. Barça were proclaimed champions of the Copa del Rey on the night after that defeat to Real Madrid in the final.
And the blaugrana magnify his legend as King of Cups by conquering his 32nd title. Marcos Lopez.
That's right. How are you, fellas? Yesterday we lived, and all the Spanish television viewers could enjoy it, one of the best finals in the history of the Copa del Rey, if not the best. We start with the champions who have just arrived in Barcelona. There, at the Joan Camper Sports City, is our colleague Frank Ruber. Frank, tell us how it has been. How is the reception being? Good afternoon. Surely most of the Cull fans are still hungover, especially emotionally, after last night's agonizing victory against Real Madrid. And here at the Sports City, only 100 fans have come. Of course, ready to continue with the celebration party. A few minutes ago, the Barcelona bus arrived, coming from El Prat Airport, with the brand new champions of the Copa del Rey. And now the players are picking up their private cars to return home to rest. However, this does not stop, because tomorrow Hans and Flick's team are training behind closed doors to prepare for the Champions League semi-final first leg against Inter Milan, which will be played on Wednesday at Montjuic. As soon as the referee blew the whistle at the end of the match, and with the Barça already champions of the 32, for this a big party of the Catalan team broke out on the Cartullo lawn, but also at the Canaletas fountain, the traditional Barça celebration place, and that it had been a long time since after winning a cup. It was not like yesterday. At the cry of, "Come on!" the Barca players started celebrating the cup on the grass. Hugs, congratulations. Songs with the fans, and first dances led by the Minyamal. With the trophy already in their possession, the squad expressed their joy even more in the lap of honor. I think football won today. She posed for a historical photo. He shared the success with his fans. And he didn't hesitate to get wet to promise them more. This does not stop here, we continue. Let's get to the next one, let's go. The Porta joined the party. It is an immense happiness. To the rhythm of a Lamin, who continued to be the king in the locker room. And on arrival at the hotel. Meanwhile, the Culés left the Cartullo Stadium euphoric. And in Barcelona, they crowded gutters dreaming of the treble.
You are seeing the long queues of the faithful to visit the tomb of Pope Francis. They're in Santa Maria Maggiore since 7 o'clock in the morning. They have been waiting since its opening to the public. They are entering. They continue to do so. It is a live image of the Roman Basilica. Francis' body has been resting there since yesterday, in a simple tomb, by the express wish of the pontiff. Only in the early hours of this Sunday, about 30,000 people have come to that temple for which Francis felt a special affection, to see his last resting place.
We are going directly to Rome again with our correspondent, with Bego Allegra, because Bego, apart from the faithful, the visit of the College of Cardinals is also expected.
Yes, the highest representation of the Roman Curia, that is, the cardinals. It is planned that they will come at 4 o'clock in the afternoon, enter through the holy door, and stop to pray at the tomb of Francis. Who knows if to ask him for inspiration for that important task, crucial for the Catholic Church, which is to choose the next pontifical. They will meet again tomorrow, and it is expected that they will make the decision on when the conclave will be. They tell us that all the cardinal electors are already here. In principle 135, there was talk that 1 or 2 were not going to be there for health reasons, and there is still a doubt about whether they will allow the disqualified Cardinal Becciu to vote yes in order to be elected. Meanwhile, here in the Plaza de Santa Maria Maggiore, it has become a place of pilgrimage for Christians from all over the world, who wait in line for hours to be just a few seconds inside and take a souvenir on the mobile of the tomb of Francis. At 7 o'clock in the morning, when the doors of Santa Maria Maggiore opened, there were already many people waiting. Soon after, the sun was starting to tighten, and the row was growing. Quarantine to Rome. We have come to Rome for a day to see the Pope's tomb and enter through the holy door, says Irene, who has arrived with her family from Sicily. We also entered just a few seconds to admire the simplicity of the burial. It's Sunday, and there is Mass in the Basilica.
He was not a pope.
For me, he was not the Pope. He was a man, a grandfather to be loved, says Mata, who has come from Sardinia to make this visit, or Maria, who arrived on Tuesday from Murcia.
We came on purpose for Francisco, as he passed away on Monday. On Monday we organized ourselves. And on Tuesday we arrived in the afternoon.
Santa Maria Maggiore is the last stop for a very intense and informative week, focused on Francis. This afternoon, the cardinals come to pray at his tomb, and from tomorrow they focus on their next and very important mission. Gregorio Rosich Vaz, Cardinal of El Salvador, and one of the promoters of the canonization of Oscar Romero, was there this morning.
Now it's up to the cardinals to choose someone who walks by that same vision.
Rosich Vaz is over 80 years old, and that excludes her from the voting to elect the new pope. For the first time in a row, access to the Vatican was impossible. 200,000 teenagers have crowded St. Peter's Square to participate in the Jubilee Mass. It was going to be special for them, and it has been special also because we are in the 9 days of mourning for the Pope. I understood it very well, because it was in Italian and very hot. But yes, the teenagers continue with their agenda, and after the Mass, they had 2 charged batteries, carbohydrates, souvenirs, and talk the same about everyone, with Germans, with Portuguese, Spaniards too. They come from San Sebastian and are devoted to Carlo Acutis, the Italian Quincia Iro, who was to be canonized today. With the death of the Pope, it could not have been, but coming to the Jubilee that Francis designed for them was worth it. And in the end, it's a very good opportunity for all of us to say, we are part of a church. In the square, the crowd is homogeneous between scout hats of all origins and orderly rows. That is why a Spanish cardinal does not go unnoticed by us.
The truth is that the kids have given color and life a little to this square, with a lot of serenity and with a lot of tranquility. But this is a joy of all the pair in the world.
The cardinals' formalities are back tomorrow, but this afternoon I'm walking around Rome together. Throughout the day, thousands of teenagers will enter St. Peter's of the Vatican, and they will do it through the Holy Door. That is one of the objectives of today, to pass through that door to earn the Jubilee. After complying with the protocol to dismiss the Pope, the Vatican continues the path to choose a successor. After the funeral, the calendar marked the novendiales, from diem in Latin, the 9 days of mourning that are tradition. In this case, from the 26th of April to the 4th of May, 9 masses for Francis are celebrated in 9 days, open to anyone who wants to. The participation of the cardinals is mandatory. Each liturgy is presided over by a different cardinal.
Eternal mercy.
The first, Pietro Parolin, who will ring a bell because he is one of the favorites in the pools to the Pope, until now Secretary of State of the Vatican. Once those 9 days of mourning are over, they can already convene the conclave, the meeting to elect a new pontiff. And there is a deadline, 20 days from the death of the Pope. That is, the conclave should begin between the 5th and the 10th of May in the Sistine Chapel, which from tomorrow is closed to the public. He has to start preparing to welcome the more than 130 cardinals participating, the 80 named by Francis. During the conclave, they stay at the Casa de Santa Marta and are isolated, without television or newspapers, without Wi-Fi. In addition, frequency inhibitors are installed in the Sistine Chapel. There is nothing written about how long the conclave should last. That depends on how long it takes for the cardinals, under the age of 80 and coming from all over the world, to agree that they will vote until there is white smoke. This is the moment when the explosion occurs, picked up by a security camera and from a car. The workers try to get to safety when a second one is heard. The flames spread rapidly, and with them, an intense column of smoke. The magnitude of the tragedy is visible from the air. According to the Iranian authorities, the explosion may have been due to chemical materials stored in a container, which is why an emergency alert has been decreed in the port area. The port of Sahid Raji, in the south of the country, located on the Strait of Hormuz, is of vital importance for Iran. It receives more than 80% of the freight transport and manages 55% of the non-oil imports and exports. The extinction and rescue services continue to work. The injured continue to arrive at hospitals, and it is not ruled out that the number of dead and injured may increase.